Hi guys, welcome to Football with Brownie. Hope you're all well. Happy Friday. Hope you're keeping safe, keeping each other safe, and spreading the love during this pandemic. We all need a little bit of loving, and that's why old Brownie here's got his shirt on. He's got a date tonight, so fingers crossed I'm having a bit of loving tonight, Dan. Right. Before we go any further, please like, share, and most importantly, subscribe to the channel, because without you guys, this channel can't progress. And remember, subscription is absolutely free. Today for Cardiff City, the Cardiff City Show. Try saying that with a lisp, I tell you. We welcome back GTFM and Forza Italian football reporter Dan Blakemore. How are you, Dan?
Not too bad, mate. All good.
Yeah. How's the lockdown coping?
All right. It's just boring being locked in the house all day.
I know. There's only so much work you can do online, isn't it? It's so destroying.
Yeah, pretty much. Especially when the kids are running riot as well.
No. Hey, I don't have any kids. I can't look after myself, I tell you. So, anyway, the Millwall game. We haven't spoken since before the Millwall game. So, what's your opinion on the Millwall game?
Probably pretty much the same as Barnsley. Really, it was slight improvement, I think, overall. But I mean, when you consider, I think Millwall have scored just about less goals than anybody in a championship, and they probably look like the better team for large parts of it. Yeah. So it wasn't fantastic. But I suppose take the slight positive that there was a bit of improvement from Barnsley a few days earlier.
If I'm honest with you, I thought it was an absolute bore fest. I really did. Very similar, as you mentioned, to Barnsley, because I thought Barnsley was a bore fest as well. I don't know if I know you're probably busy doing your own stuff during the game, but doing my watch along on that Millwall game, Dan, I don't know if you agree with me. I know a few people in the chat at the time did agree with me. We all know what Millwall are like. You know, they kind of like got a reputation now of being, you know, steady at the back, dealing with crosses, dealing with corners and so on and so forth. At first I thought the dropping of Harris was a good idea, right? However, I didn't like against Millwall. I thought 5 at the back was going too defensive.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, anytime you play Millwall, are what you expect at that end of the championship. Really, they're going to sit back. They're going to try and soak up everything you throw at them. And in general, they're relatively quite good at doing it with teams in and around their area. And I mean, I think if you're going to go 5 at the back, I think you're letting them know you're doing exactly the same thing as they're doing, and you've not really got any intention of going at them.
Yeah.
And you can see when we brought Wilson on and we started being a little bit more direct and playing a little bit of football was when we had our success. So, I mean, if you do that from the word go rather than wait until 60 minutes in, maybe you win that instead of...
that was what I was going to get. I know, I do apologise, Dan. I'm going around the M25 to try and get to my point. I do apologise. But as the game went on, okay, we had our own goal. We all got our opinions on Flint and the own goal. But you could see from that moment on that Millwall were content with that. And they were going 11 men behind the ball as much and often as possible, which, you know, no problem. That is what you expect. But I think, Dan, now, I know people are going to go back to Neil Harris when I say this, but I think a younger, and this is a key word, a younger and more inept manager would have done the Wilson change far earlier on. I was shouting for it around about the 25-minute mark, because you could see what Millwall were up to. That was a game plan. No one expected them to go 1-0 up. Let's be honest, so early on. They wouldn't have expected it themselves. But that was a game plan. You could see, anyone could see it. But that change didn't happen until the 65th minute or whatever. That's basically 3/4 of the game gone.
Yeah, I mean, I think you know what you're going to get with somebody like Mick McCarthy. I suppose calling him a dinosaur might be a little bit harsh, but when you get older managers who are set in their ways, it's kind of he's obviously gone out with the plan that he's going to play with 5 at the back and he's going to stick with it for an hour or however long to see how things go. But I mean, I think it was quite obvious that we weren't getting anywhere with it.
Yeah.
But I think, I mean, long term, I'm assuming he's probably going to stick with playing the way that he playing with 5 at the back. I can't see him changing that. But I think it just gives the impression that we're not there to win. We're just there to try and shore up and try and grab a quick goal whenever we can if we're lucky to, or we'll take the draw. So I don't think it bodes well for entertaining football going forward, but I'm not expecting anything different from him.
Well, I looked at the table earlier on because I'm noticing now on forums, and big up to Anis on Cardiff City Forum if he is watching. Anis, get in contact with you. I need to speak to you about something. But I was talking. I was reading some of the and I think people are now starting to get worried now about relegation. Rotherham beating Derby during a week and meant that the final relegation place is only 6 points away. But, the positive side, we've had at least a point from each game under McCarthy. And I was looking at the relegation point total of last season. And you're looking at about 51, between like 48 and 50. But basically 50 is the cut-off point. So if we get 1 point from the remaining games, we're safe. That's how I'm thinking of it now. I know that's not the right way to go about it.
Sounds bleak.
Yeah. But Flint, is he going to? Do you think he's going to continue with Flint tomorrow then?
I certainly hope not. If I'm honest, no. I mean, look, I think the own goal was unfortunate. I don't think it's just one of those things that happen. There's a lack of communication there between Smithies and Flint, and unfortunately, he's put his foot on the ball and he's put it in. He's done the right thing. He's trying to cut the ball out across the front of the goal. So it's unfortunate, but I mean, he's too slow. He's not very good in the air. I've said before, he's like 6'5". How you be useless in the air when you're 6'5"? I don't know. And he just seems to be in the way. So I mean, if we're going to stick with a back 5, they brought Kieran Brown back from Livingston. If you're going to bring him back, let's stick him in and give him a go because it can't get any worse. Yeah. So, if that's the way we're going to go and that's how we're going to play, I think you've got to leave him out because he's just a liability.
But if you're going for a back 5, then that could continue Wilson to be on the bench tomorrow then.
Well, I was looking at it earlier and I think I'm working on the premise that he's going to continue with the back 5. I think Mary NG has been fantastic.
Yeah, so I agree.
I would always play Bacon over Bennett on the left. And I think you're going to have Morrison, Nelson, and I would stick Brown in the middle. And then you move on to the difficult bit in the midfield. I think it's time to leave Bakuna out. He did have a better game against Millwall, but that's probably the first one all along. I'd be quite happy to have Rawls sat in front of the back 3. And then let's chuck Murphy and Ojo in there. They're positive. They go forward and stick Wilson up top with more. He plays slightly off more anyway, which worked against Millwall. Let's be positive about it. If we're going to have the back 5, it doesn't mean we've got to load the midfield with defensive midfielders.
Yeah.
So whether he's going to do that, I don't see any way he leaves Harry Wilson out, or he can do, or justify it in any way after he made such a big difference against Millwall.
Yeah. Just a couple of comments at the moment. Maximus, Cardiff City. I know my fault. My fault. I didn't breathe before I said my S's, as per usual with me. Hi, Richard. And for people who don't know, Richard is Jake's father, who's on West Ham unofficial YouTube channel. Please, I'll be on there tomorrow afternoon, actually, before the Cardiff game. So please. Check out West Ham unofficial. Even if you're not a West Ham fan, he does get fans from other clubs on there. So big shout out to them. We'll leave a Bristol City game until later on, Dan. Transfer deadline. What's your opinions?
It was pretty uneventful, really. I suppose, apart from making his way to the Bundesliga. We brought in Johnny Williams, which I've chewed and froed on, and I'm still not quite sure where I sit on that, whether it's a good move or a bad move. But I think it's quite concerning that they let Glatzel go with absolutely nobody else coming in.
Yeah. Look, the Johnny Williams thing. I know I may have been a bit harsh, but don't get me wrong. A few years ago, I would have welcomed him with open arms. But we are where we are now with in terms of his career and in terms of his injury record. And I'm thinking to myself, Dan, I don't know about you, but the wording McCarthy was using, was basically he needs someone, as a playmaker. Let's get it right, a playmaker. But isn't that what Wilson is here for?
Well, yeah, to me, I think Harry Wilson's been used completely in the wrong way the whole time. He's been shoved out on the wing where he's ineffective because he doesn't get the ball. But we saw it against Millwall. He came on, he played in the middle, and straight away it was a fantastic pass for keeping goal. So, I mean, you can see there, you've already got it. I don't know what the thing is with Wilson. I get the impression Mick McCarthy doesn't like him, or there's something that he's unsure about, because it seems odd that he chose to leave him out of Barnsley and he's only given him sort of 20 minutes last week. So, I mean, I'm not... Johnny Williams, like you said, his career is where it is at this point. I think he's played about an average of 11 games a season, like over his entire career. Like, he's a fantastic player when he's on form, but I mean, is he going to be on form? Are we going to have him for any more than 2 or 3 games? I think he's already played, 18 or whatever it is for Charlton this year. So he's already breaking averages. So is he just here to sit in the physio room? I don't know. I'm still unsure what to make of it.
I know. He always comes across as a great guy, doesn't he? Johnny Williams, when he's ever on Welsh international duty, I got no problem at all on that. I think you'd be great he comes across as if you'd be a great character in the changing room. I've got no problem at all on that. But it's to me, it's a very underwhelming signing. I think, would you agree on that? Or
yeah, I think we get carried away with. I've seen lots following it on Twitter and things since he come through of, but he's Welsh, and it's like I don't buy into this notion that just because somebody's Welsh that makes him a fantastic signing for the club. I can't quite get my head around that.
It's kind of like a Salmon sales pitch.
Yeah, I don't get, like, when they were talking about Rabbi Matondo trying to get him on loan and everything but he's Welsh, and it's like, well, yeah, but that doesn't mean he's the right person to come into the club. So it's great we've got another Welshman playing at Cardiff City, fantastic. But if he's going to be injured all the time, the Bupa Hospital was holding a party across the road from my house when he signed, because I'm thinking he's going to spend his time there. But I could be wrong. He might commit. It's only a 6-month deal, which is the thing that's kind of swaying me a little bit. It's only short term. If it does go wrong, it doesn't really matter. I don't suppose we just don't offer him another one. He might come in and be fantastic for 6 months. But I'm very much stuck on which way I think about it. But I think underwhelming was probably about right. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, McCarthy went on to say, "Oh, he was great with me with Ipswich." Hang on. When Ipswich played well under McCarthy, it was the season before. No, the 2 seasons before he left, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So you're looking at 2016. We're now in 2021. With the greatest respect, McCarthy, he may well have been great while you were at Ipswich when the club were doing well. But that's nearly 6 years ago. Well, it's over 5 years ago now. I don't know. I don't know. I'm trying not. I really am. Cardiff fans, I really am trying not to be, downbeat about this. But and now you go on about Glitzel. I thought it was an interesting parting shot. He said about well, the wording was something. Manx played to his abilities, blah blah. Basically, saying Cardiff never, played him in a role in which.
Which I think was my first thing I put out about it was pretty much exactly the same. I mean, some of the comments I've seen about him, he's not technically good enough. He's not, and I think he's come from a country where everybody's technically good. Whether you watch 3 Liga, 2 Bundesliga, the Bundes, everybody is technically good from Germany. That's just how they play football. But I mean, he's come from somewhere where they play football the right way with the ball on the deck. And we've stuck him up front. We're launching the ball from Cantor and asking him to bring it down in Grangetown on the box with no support. And then we're going, why is he not scoring 2 goals a game? And it's like, well, because you're not using his strengths. Kiefer Moore is fantastic at standing up front and having a ball launched at him, which is why he stands out and why he looks so much better. But you can't put you don't put, a Ferrari up front if all you're going to do is launch the ball at him. It just doesn't. And I think some of the things that people are coming out and saying about it, he's always worked hard. You can't fault him. His work rate was always there, but we just never ever played to his strengths. So slagging him off, I think, is terrible. And I think he'll do well at Mainz playing to his strengths.
But alarm bells are going now regarding, where's the backup? So I know that he had a good game for under 23s yesterday, I think it was. But is this now clearing the pathway for youngsters like Isaac Davis and so on?
Possibly. I mean,
because quite simply, apart from going down to the under 23s, there's no other backup.
I mean, well, we've brought Waters in, who's injured already.
Yeah.
And I was quite impressed with the opening hour he played when he first came in, but obviously he's been injured since. But I think what you're looking at, you're talking about Kiefer Moore at the moment leads the line. As you're talking about an international striker. Yeah. If he goes down, we're now looking at under 23s or someone we've picked up from League One, League Two to step in and fill a void in the Championship. Now, I think lots of people always talk about, the level of the champion. We're not talking about the Premier League, but the Championship is still of a higher ilk than playing under 23 football or playing in League One.
Oh, yeah, without doubt.
So I think that's a massive, massive gamble.
Yeah.
I hope that he stays fit for the entirety of the season now, because if he does...
And the thing about Watt, and let's get him fit as quickly as possible, don't get me wrong on that, but he doesn't strike me as a target man.
No, when he played, he looked fast. He looked a lot like Glatzel. He was trying to run in behind. He wanted the ball to his feet, but you're not going to stand him up front and launch a ball at him, and he's going to be able to bring it down and hold it up. So, major concern with that.
Okay, let's go on tomorrow. 7-side derby. I'll be honest with you, Dan. It's probably, for a number of years now, I've been confident going into this game. But this is probably the least confident I've been. Oh, probably since League One days. I'll be honest with you, playing these guys. I don't know what you... But thankfully, in a championship, anyone can beat anyone. I don't know what your opinions on it.
I think, well, they played against Brentford a couple of nights ago, which is 1+ for us because I watched some of the game and they were, it was quite intense. So they've only had a couple of days break before we go in, which should be a slight advantage to us. They've been a bit hit and miss, I think, looking at their record earlier. They've won 12, lost 12 and drawn 3. They're sort of 50-50. So it depends what Bristol team turns up. I mean, the way we're playing at the moment, I would never be confident in us winning unless the opposition has a meltdown. But I think hopefully them having played against Brentford a couple of days ago plays into our hands a little bit. We're a little bit more rested going into it. But I'm not overly confident in the slightest.
Yeah, you are right. And it has been for a number of years now. It's Bristol City, or depends which one turns up. They always seem to have good starts and then they die down by Christmas. But we'll see. We'll see. What as I previously mentioned regarding people are now starting to fear about relegation. What's your opinion on that?
I think it would be naive to think that we're not in that conversation at the moment.
I agree.
Earlier. I mean, I think Wickham are gone. I think Rotherham are pretty much going to be gone as well. I don't see them coming out. You've got Sheffield Wednesday in the bottom 3 at the moment. They started with a massive points deduction. Already only a few points away from being safe. QPR are in there. Derby are in there. Derby have had an upturn in form.
Since Rooney went there.
So, I mean, I'm not overly concerned. I think we will be okay. But I do think we are in that conversation.
I don't think we'll... I agree. I don't think we'll go down. But on the flip side of that, I don't think we'll be far away.
No.
Between 3 and 6 points, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, you look like we played QPR recently, which we came out of the wrong side of. We're not performing even against teams in and around that battle.
Look at Wickham.
Yeah. I mean, the key to staying safe is, all right, maybe not beating people in the top 10, but you need to make sure you're taking points from the bottom 10. And we've not done that consistently over the course of the season. So unless that can pick it up, then we're going to fall further and further into trouble. I think there's enough there that we'll stay out of it. But we're definitely in that conversation, and it is a nervous time. So hopefully, mixed run of at least taking a point from games will continue and we can start to move away from it slightly.
Yeah. You hear anything about another story about the takeover, Dan?
I did see a few things come up in the week. I think what I read was Tan's now had enough and is actively looking to sell the club. But it seems strange because obviously come off the back of the meeting where he's turned down 3 approaches. So I'm not sure how true that is. It seems odd that he would have turned down a generous bid and would now be actively looking to...
Yeah, that's exactly my thoughts. That's exactly my thoughts. Which then brings me on to the possibility, and it is what a few of the rumours have gone around, a possibility that Dalman is heading with a new consortium to buy it.
I mean, you basically just sell into what you've already got then, and you. So I think if that was to happen, I don't think it really impacts the club or changes what's going on at the moment, because I think Dalman is probably the one who's front and centre in a lot of the decisions that are made. I'm not quite sure how much Tan has to do with it, if I'm honest. He just seems like the bloke that chucks the money in. I don't think that'd be a positive move for us in any way, shape, or form. Because you're just sticking with the same. It was Dalman that came out and said that he wasn't really interested in having a director of football. So you just continue in the same horrible circle we're in at the moment, really. So I mean, if that's all he's going to do, I'd rather he just kept hold of it and kept chucking his money in.
Yeah, think about Dalman. He did try out with Charlton, didn't he, during the summer?
Yeah.
That was a failed bid. No, I can understand Charlton because it's a London club. We all know London property prices, and I'm sure that that comes with it. We're buying any football club, but you want to buy in a prosperous area, so that you keep on. I hate using this word, but the customers will pay the prices and so on and so forth. Cardiff, quite similar, really, in regard to regional area of prosperity, but I don't know. Something tells me that Tan trying to get the band back together is still lurking in the distance on this, because I'm thinking that another person instead of Tan could come to an agreement with Haman to get this Langdon debt over and done with. And surely Haman and Downman would have had conversations, for before Downman would take the conversation further to Tan. Would you think that?
Yeah, I mean, Sam Haman's name seems to be cropping up constantly in everything you see, and I think the only thing preventing Tan selling to him is the fact that he can't stand him. I think. I mean, again, that's concerning, though, the fact that, we're in a situation at the moment where I can't imagine this is the best time to be trying to sell a football club.
Oh, absolutely not.
It's probably the best time to be trying to buy them.
Yeah, it's definitely a buyer's market. Definitely a buyer's market.
But then that's concerning in the fact that you've got people who are trying to buy low now. And is that because they can't afford at normal prices? So they don't have the money to run it once they actually get in. So, right now, I would rather Vincent Tan stays where he is, keeps hold of the club. If he is going to sell, we do it at a later date. Obviously, we can't control that. But I would be very concerned with any sales of anyone at this point.
Because I've, some messages and everything you take with a pinch of salt, but I'm also reading that, I don't know if you know anything about this, Dan, but I'm also reading that there's been concerns about Tan's health lately. Do you know, have you heard of that?
I've not seen anything, no. But he seems to be around a lot less, though, than when you think back when he first took over. He was kind of front and centre all the time. But he does seem to have disappeared into the background. I don't know if there's anything to that, or if that's
maybe the messages I'm reading and so on from people who put 1 and 1 together and getting 2,000. But but no, I didn't know whether you knew anything about it, because it's the first I've come across it during a week anyway. So what's it been like with German and Italian football then, Dan? Because that's what you also focus on.
Not too bad. I haven't done much Italian games lately. They've had the Coppa Italia and things going on, which have been sort of midweek and stuff. So we've had people in ground doing them because there's less of a fixture list. Bundesliga stopped now until tonight. We've got Hertha Bayern, which I'm covering later. Which will probably just be the standard Bayern score 5 or 6 and the game's over by half time. Always makes for good entertainment. But it's quite quiet everywhere at the moment. It's been weird considering we're at the end of sort of a transfer window with everything that's going on in the world. There's only really been loan moves and small bits and pieces coming out. Nothing exciting or worth paying much attention to, really.
Ramsey. He's starting to produce the goods at UB. He's seems to be a good rapport with Pirlo, don't you think?
Yeah, I think when he initially came in under Sarri, who's got a very one-track mind when it comes to the way football should be played. And I don't think he fitted into that at all. Obviously, Pirlo played a similar role to Ramsey. When he was in the game, he controlled things, and I think Aaron Ramsey has really sort of come to life underneath him. They seem to be on the upturn. They had a rough start to the year, but they're coming back into the title chase now. But it's all about just keeping him fit, because I think he's maybe not quite on a Johnny Williams level, but he does down on a regular basis. But I mean, if they can keep him fit, he's a fantastic player. How Arsenal ever let him leave for nothing?
Well, exactly. I mean, I'm sure you know that. I'm YouTube friends with quite a number of Arsenal fans, and I know some of them were hounding him out, jumping on a Piers Morgan bandwagon, hounding him out. And now that he's gone and he didn't have any replacement, now they want him back. It for 400,000 a week, it's crazy money. Don't get me wrong, for you and me, but. Footballers' wages, £400,000 a week, only works out at 16 million a year. Now, if you put that towards Hosam Aouar, who would cost about 60 million from Lyon, plus his wages on top, I just think it was absolutely crazy not to agree to agree to meet Juventus's offer to Ramsey.
I mean, I think it's the Arsenal way of doing business, isn't it? I mean, even in this transfer window now with Mustafi has gone back to Germany. And I mean, his contract was coming to an end at the end of the year, and they were actively saying he's not for sale. You can talk to him about signing for you in 6 months' time, but we're not selling him. Yeah. And I'm looking at that thinking, I can't see any logic in that whatsoever. No. If you're going to let him leave anyway in 6 months, even if you only get 1 or 2 million now, because I think they've cancelled his contract and allowed him to go and join Schalke anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't see, but they do it regularly. It's not new. It was the same with Ramsey. His contract's coming to an end. A year before they even got to that point, they should have sat down and got a new deal on the table. So
because cancelling the contract would still mean that the holding club of that player's contract will still have to pay between 60 and 75% of a remaining contract, and yet the guy can then go to another club free of charge and still earn from his new club as well as continuing payments from his old club. It's a win-win for a player.
It's just an insane way to do things. I mean, even if you're only going to get 500,000 in a transfer fee, then take it, right? Because 500,000 is better than getting nothing. It's better than cancelling his contract and allowing him to leave anyway. Yeah. I can understand when players are in a position where nobody wants to buy them. No one's going to give you a transfer fee for him. So fair enough, cancel their contract, move them out. But, he was being touted with like Barcelona were looking at him, Schalke were looking at him. There were clubs interested. So take what you can get. I really can't get my head around that business model at all.
I think, to be fair to Arsenal, I think there were things going on behind the scenes which no one. There was always rumours, wasn't it? Splits in the camp and so on, and maybe, to be fair and trying to balance things out, maybe those splits got so deep that action was required there and then. Maybe I don't know if.
Yeah, I think it's a club again with board issues, I think. And I think, you only got to look at like the Ozil situation to see what an absolute mess is behind the scenes. Again, they've eventually got rid of him now, and he's been absolutely slagged out by people for staying and taking his money. Whereas to me, I think the club offered him the contract. They offered to pay him. They then decided they didn't want to play him. He has no obligation to leave. But to get yourself into that mess in the first place is that's sort of, like you say, that's board level, people not agreeing, things not going the right way, nobody talking to each other, and it just ends up in a giant mess. But they just seem to repeat it over and over again.
Well, I don't know if you've heard, I know you focus on obviously Cardiff, but German and Italian football, I don't know if you noticed the eye-watering figures of Barcelona's debt recently. It's just incredible. 1.1 billion in debt. They need to pay a loan of 750 million by April. They still need to pay 120 million of transfer fees, and 40 of that is still for the Coutinho transfer from Liverpool, and that's a few years ago now. That club is just a mess, absolute mess, and it's very similar to Cardiff. We heard again with Greg Cunningham today, is that his transfer has now gone from a loan to basically ripping up a contract. This is a guy, okay, completely different levels, but the same kind of insane running of a football club is that you buy Greg Cunningham 4 million. He played 16 games in 4 years.
It just shows again, though, even when I was reading about that the other day, like, it's nice to know it's not just us. Obviously, Preston have taken him on loan, and then realised they've actually got too many players on loan, so they can't actually have him in the first place. And then have gone back, and they've gone from a loan to a move. And it's just, you wonder sometimes. I know surely most of these people taking over clubs are businessmen, but it seems that they have absolutely no business knowledge whatsoever.
Hang on, who's in charge of Preston these days?
I have no idea, to be perfectly honest.
Ridgedale. Surely it's still
Ridgedale,
is it?
There we go. Yeah, they're not all run by businessmen.
Yeah, no, I'm sure I'm going to check this now because someone will call me out on it if that's not the case. But I'm sure Peter Ridgedale is still in charge there. Let's see. He's an advisor to the owner. He's an advisor to the owner. So, yeah. I knew he was
As I said, businessmen with no sense getting advisors that are even worse.
Yeah, Pete is still involved again. That guy should be banned for life from football, but never mind. But it's been 37 minutes. I do have to get on. I do apologise, Dan. I just to double check. We're going to chat. John Wayne is here. Hey up, John Wayne. Hey up, Retro Gamer. What's up, Retro? Hope you're well. Randy's in the chat from Australia. Natasha. We've got Richard Cox. Yeah, no worries, and I'm sure that many more will watch after they finish work or over a weekend. Okay, prediction before you go, Dan. Prediction for tomorrow.
Let's be positive. So I'll go with a 1-1 draw.
I'm going to go with 2-2. I'm going to go 2-2. I can see a Barnsley-like comeback. Right, no worries. Thank you very much, Stan, for joining. Much appreciated. Where can people find you before you go as well?
Twitter's where everything is, mostly at DJB Football. Anything I work on usually goes up on there, and you can find my general rantings about Cardiff City on an almost daily basis as well.
And that's why we become such good friends, Dan. Thank you very much, my friend, and speak to you soon. Have a good weekend, and love to your family.
Cheers, mate. Thank you. See you later.
Bye-bye, mate. And thank you very much, everybody in the chat. And until next time. Oh, hang on. I got watch along Cardiff City, Bristol City tomorrow afternoon. Sunday, I'm editing. I don't know if any of you remember, but Sunday I'm editing the 91 Cup Winners' Cup final between Barcelona and Man United. Who's a great second second half goal, volley. I don't know if any of you guys, but it was basically the first team to win European honours after high school, and that would be 6 years after high school. So I'm editing that. That should go up on Sunday or Sunday evening maybe, and keep an eye out for any other of the content I'm putting up. Please like, share, and subscribe. All in the banner there. And until next time, take care. Bye-bye.